Gabriel Martinelli, Granit Xhaka, Thomas Partey. Arsenal injury news ahead of Crystal Palace. The Gunners have some injury worries ahead of the clash with Crystal Palace as Premier League football returns after the international break. Takes a look at the current state of the Gunners squad from a fitness perspective as the international break continues. Granit Xhaka. Xhaka limped off with a knee injury in the North London derby in September and has subsequently been ruled out of action for 3 months. What Arteta said. With Granit, I don't know, the Arsenal boss said in his pre-match press conference ahead of Palace. But what I'm sure is that if you tell him 3, he will be thinking 2. He will be trying to cut edges and do extra work to minimize that time, that's for sure. We have to manage in the right way because it's a significant injury and we want to have him back properly when we can. We have to manage him carefully. We are here to help him and I'm sure we'll find some ways around it in the team because we have some really good players who can do the job. Thomas Partey. Partey has had a terrible run of luck on the injury front since joining Arsenal. He missed the start of this season with a knock and then limped off against Burnley, but the problem did not stop him from playing the full 90 minutes against Spurs or Brighton. The midfielder has been in impressive form with Ghana over the past couple of weeks, scoring in both of their matches against Zimbabwe. While he appears to have come through unscathed, Arteta did suggest that the international break may have taken its toll on the 28-year-old. What Arteta said? Well, let's see. We haven't had the players here yet, some of them because they're still traveling. He played well and scored a couple of goals. Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli hasn't featured much for Arsenal this season despite fans desperately wanting to see the young Brazilian more often. And now it seems as though they'll have to wait even longer as he is suffering from a minor injury as Arteta confirmed that he's picked up a knock. What Arteta said? Unfortunately, he got injured last week, the Spaniard said. It's a minor injury. We don't know if he's going to be available for Monday. Mohamed Elneny. Elneny has suffered with some frustrating issues at the start of the campaign, having missed the wins against Norwich City, Burnley and Spurs. His knee injury appeared to have cleared up for Arsenal's Carabao Cup clash with AFC Wimbledon, but he has not been seen in a Premier League matchday squad. However, with Xhaka out, he could be afforded an opportunity by Arteta in the coming weeks, especially after he played 2 sets of 90 minutes in Egypt's wins over Libya during the international break. Takahiro Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu was in fine form during the international break as he helped Japan to a huge win over Australia on Tuesday. However, concerns will be raised regarding the distance the defender has had to travel. Tomiyasu first played against Saudi Arabia in Riyadh before traveling to Japan for the clash with Australia. Therefore, he may need a rest upon return. Per Mertesacker reveals plan for Arsenal Wonderkid Charlie Patino. Mertesacker believes it is only a matter of time before Patino makes the step up and follows in the footsteps of Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, who are among the first names on Arteta's team sheet. We always knew that Charlie is very talented with what he can produce for our youth teams, the former Arsenal captain told Football. London. The link with the first team was always there and he got some exposure this summer. He had some injuries as well. Sometimes it's not always that easy to track a player where everything works out for him nice. Towards the end of the season he had an injury, so he came back into the system. We kind of exposed him, wanted to give him a proper preseason. His plan was always to stay with the under-23s and then be exposed to the first team at some stages. That was always the plan for this season for him, so there was not a loan conversation to be made yet. We want him, which he's doing at the moment, to dominate 23's games and be exposed to first-team friendly games and hopefully to a couple of competitive games. But that's always determined by what's required on the first-team side. But what helps are these games against Swindon and Newport. He played against Swindon and was one of the best players. These are the games he needs to dominate and be exposed to make the next step. We didn't want to go a step ahead of where he was actually at with his progress. Charlie Patino will continue to follow Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe to play for the first team or not. We need to wait the result in the future. Ainsley Maitland-Niles names former Arsenal star Mesut Ozil as his best ever teammate. Ozil played 184 Premier League games across 8 seasons with the Gunners, scoring 33 goals and assisting on 54 occasions. The 32-year-old, who was effectively frozen out by Mikel Arteta, joined Turkish giants Fenerbahce in January after having his Arsenal contract mutually terminated 6 months prematurely. Maitland-Niles was a teammate of Ozil's during the Germany international's entire spell at Arsenal and believes the quality he possesses sets him aside from any other player he has shared a dressing room with. Best player I've ever played with? Mesut Ozil, Maitland-Niles said. With him, he was so timed and calculated. Everything he does has a purpose, and if you're not on his team you can't get near him. I've never seen a guy like that who plays in slow motion, but he always has time on the ball. It doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, Maitland-Niles could be set to follow Ozil in leaving Arsenal in the January transfer window, with the versatile academy graduate reportedly less than happy with his lack of playing time under Arteta after starting just one of the club's opening 7 Premier League games. Mikel Arteta rules out January loan move for Arsenal youngster Gabriel Martinelli. Mikel Arteta insists he remains happy with Gabriel Martinelli and dismissed the suggestion the Brazilian forward could be sent out on loan in January. Asked why Martinelli hadn't featured recently, Arteta said, "Well, because of the amount of players we have in those positions, he had some games that he played. He started against Brentford, he started against Chelsea, and he started another game. Unfortunately, he got an injury last week. It is a minor injury and we don't know if he's going to be available for Monday. We have a lot of trust with Gabby and we need to find space for him to grow within the squad. If you look at the number of games he's played, the injuries have been a big setback for him. We sometimes forget his age and we need to try and help him maintain that balance because you can generate frustration that comes out of, in my opinion, a not very realistic diagnosis and we need time." Asked directly whether a loan move was an option for Martinelli, he added, "I'm very happy with him, we are not thinking about anything like that." Mikel Arteta shuts down rumours Alexandre Lacazette could leave Arsenal in January. Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta has rubbished speculation that Alexandre Lacazette could be set for a January move and insists the forward shows his commitment on a daily basis in training. Lacazette is out of contract at the Emirates next summer and the Gunners must decide whether to cash in on the striker in the winter or risk losing him on a free transfer at the end of the season. Lacazette has found himself on the outside of Arsenal's first-team squad this term, making just 2 substitute Premier League appearances in the side's matches with Manchester City and Brighton. However, speaking at his pre-match press conference ahead of Arsenal's derby clash with Crystal Palace, Arteta stressed the attacker could have a key role to play over the coming weeks and months. Asked whether Lacazette could leave, Arteta replied, "No, we are focusing on getting the best out of Laka. He shows every day that his commitment is here. We just want to give him the right minutes so he can show his quality and help the team to be better." Atletico Madrid have long been credited with a strong interest in Lacazette and recent reports suggest Serie A champions Inter Milan are confident of wrapping up an agreement for the 30-year-old France international.